Hi, welcome to the Dirty Nerdy, episode 22. And today we have quite a bit to go over. We're going to talk about an indie game that caught my eye late last week, early this week. What the heck was that? Getting notifications all over the place. Uh, let's see what else. We got that indie game. We got some interesting rumors about Sony trying to acquire another dev house. We're gonna talk a little bit about Ezra Miller and more not so much about his shenanigans and more about how his shenanigans might relate to the DC refocusing the DCEU stuff that Avery and I discussed last week. And then we're going to talk about Moon Knight and the movie of the week, The Norseman. The Northman. I keep wanting to say Norseman, but that's something else. You'll notice Avery's not here today. He's got, daddy life. And so, Steve, how was your week?
It was a
It's been
good
2 weeks.
I guess I wasn't here last week, so I've just been honestly just doing stuff around the house. I've been playing a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West on the PS5. Loving it. It's equal parts challenging and accomplishments versus Elden Ring, which was equal parts challenging and failure. So I do plan on picking up Elden Ring for the PS5. Just I'm going to grab a used copy. I'm not down to pay for a full price for it again.
Nah.
So that's kind of been my week. We went and saw Northman last night. I haven't really been watching any shows. I'm getting ready to watch Picard season 2. I really liked season 1. I thought that it was a fully realized and all-encompassing story. So I imagine that season 2 is much the same. So what about you, Chris? What have you been up to the last 2 weeks?
Well, I don't remember a week ago. This last week, I actually didn't watch a whole lot. I didn't even play video games until last night. My friend came over. We played some Mario Party 64 and some Mario Kart 64, and I got royally worked. Like I was just demolished. I had to look around for my man card this morning. Like,
I mean, when it comes to Mario Kart, my wife is like a game shark, so she challenges people to it, and they think, oh, she's just a girl, she's not gonna be very good at it, and then she just destroys them.
Yeah, I knew this girl was good because she'd keep up in the conversations and stuff. But no excuses. But I'm definitely out of N64 practice. Now we were using Wii controllers, so there was that. I wasn't using that weird ass N64 controller, but I don't know. I'm slow. I was just slow as shit.
I've just never been good at driving games.
Well, even the Mario Party stuff, like I was terrible. I was absolutely wretched. Yeah. Just got worked. So otherwise, I tried to watch the Batman a few times, but I turn it on when I'm like going to bed. So
yeah,
that's not gonna happen. I watched Moon Knight, and then of course I went and saw the Northman. I was pretty much out every night this week, and then Thursday was Northman. Which we'll get into that later. That was interesting. Yeah. And if you haven't seen it yet, I did a quick no spoiler review that's like just under 3 minutes. So go check that out. Otherwise, yeah, pretty. Well, yeah, it was a weird week. I had driving school all day yesterday. That was fun.
Sounds like it.
So I was just kind of browsing through the the news feeds here, and this headline caught my eye. Steel Rising looks like the first true Bloodborne like for PC. Steve, have you played Bloodborne at all?
I really haven't. I picked it up when it was a free game on PlayStation 4, and I think I played like 10 minutes of it and then moved on to something else.
Yeah, because that game kicks your ass.
Yeah,
It's so hard.
No, and I just didn't have the time to put into playing a game that was kicking my ass at the time.
Well, and you know what's funny is like those free games are so easy to just put aside and not give a rat's ass about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this is supposedly an indie game that looks a lot like Bloodborne. We're gonna watch some of the gameplay here. We're not gonna watch the whole thing because it's like 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I could definitely see where they correlate the Bloodborne stuff with this. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm pretty sure I had share audio. Can you hear it?
No.
No? All right, let me try it again.
It off the bat, it kind of looks like a Elder Scrolls game.
Okay.
Artistically, at least.
It should be sharing audio. Oh, wrong freaking button. God damn it. I love it when I do that. No.
Are you watching Elon Musk porn again?
Yes, all the Elon Musk porn. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
So now this main character is like a robot type thing.
Yeah, it looks like cyberpunk almost.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. It's kind of like a cyberpunk thing. That right there, that gun is where I get the kind of Bloodborne vibes from it, and then you've got the battling.
Is that an armored pig?
I think it's a dog. It's got a big ass tail. You know what? It kind of looks like that crazy Transformer bitch from Transformers 3, was it? Or Transformers 2 when he goes off to school.
Yeah, that was terrible. Thanks for reminding me.
The tongue.
Work to forget that.
But like watching the movement, so like I mean, I know it's like a robot thing, but also it seems almost kind of how Geralt would move in Witcher 3. Because you know, like sometimes how you'd be moving him around, it felt kind of janky. Like it was like he'd get like, you know,
he would move weird.
Yeah, it just wasn't very fluid, which makes me interested to see what they do with Witcher 4.
Which is also cyberpunk. It wasn't very fluid.
Well, cyberpunk had a lot of other issues, and then it's also first person, so it's kind of not the same.
I used to play Red Dead Redemption in first person, and I'll be honest, it was fluid. It was perfect. Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2.
I'm trying to think. I think I spent all of my time in Red Dead 2 in second person, except for like the bullet time shit. I don't know. It's been a while. But that looks cool as hell. Like, I don't know. I'm
interesting.
What was that?
It looks interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely super interested.
But you said this is a PC game. It's not coming out on consoles?
It is PC for sure, but I don't know if that means it's not coming to consoles as well. Because it's just because like this is about a Bloodborne light game coming to PC because Bloodborne's not on PC, and there's all these rumors that it's eventually going to get there. That people are just excited to see something like that. So I don't know.
It's coming out on all of them.
Okay.
June 2022.
You say November 2022?
June.
Oh,
June.
Oh, wow.
Just a couple of months. It's being released on Xbox Series X and Series S, Microsoft Windows, and PlayStation 5.
I wonder if it'll hit Game Pass. I doubt it, but that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's an indie game, so probably not right away, but maybe eventually.
So, I don't know. That looks neat. I'll definitely be checking that out. And then, so since we're talking about From Software, let's talk about the latest rumors with Sony and From Software. PlayStation to acquire From Software claims popular gaming insider. Now, this is just a rumor. I didn't really read this article because I don't want this to happen. And I don't want it to happen not because I don't want the From Software games to only be PlayStation exclusive. I don't want it to happen because I don't like Sony.
I mean, I don't mind Sony.
Sony's really big on censorship, and I that's why I left PlayStation.
So is Disney, but you still watch their shows.
Only because I have to.
Well, I mean, my problem with all these mergers is all these gaming consoles buying up all these studios is it's going to lessen the creativity, I think. We're not going to get as a wide variety that those indie games that we like to see, or even the smaller developmental houses pushing out games. It's not going to be as good.
Right, because they want to do something to get noticed. And they want to push whatever boundaries or whatever. And we won't. That will definitely be that has a potential for being lost. Like not like it's not like
also when you get a business daddy involved, then you have to start doing what they want versus what you want, and
right. And then and then you also risk that where they just push shit out and you don't have a full game. Not that Elden Ring was perfect, but it was one of the better games to be delivered like on the day.
I mean, I'll be honest, you and I both bought it day before.
Right.
Release. And I've got to say, I mean, as far as bugs go, I didn't really experience anything that was it was memorable.
Yeah, from what I understand, it was definitely much more sketchy on the PC with the frame rates and everything. Yeah. Whereas the consoles didn't have those issues.
Yeah, I had it on the Xbox, and I think I had a couple of crashes where it, for whatever reason, errored out. I think it happened twice, which is fine. That's, I mean, it's going to happen. I'd prefer it not, but I don't think it set me back any real time.
Right. Yeah, because typically, like when you shut that game down in the middle of doing something, even if you're not by like a site of grace or whatever, it just saves you right there, wherever you're at. So, I mean, that's really, that's actually a great feature.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't want this to happen. And it's not like From Software's like super edgy or anything, but they have stuck to their guns by not putting in an easy mode, which is something that a lot of people beg for. And I think if they did that, they would lose a lot of their value, like what makes them type thing. And Sony could be like, all right, you got to do this now. You got to make this so that everyone can play it.
Yeah.
But also, it's just a rumor. And from what I understand, this is not the first time this has been spoken of, particularly Sony and From. Just seeing if there's anything. Yeah, no, this is just a rumor. Someone's tweet. So yeah, I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. We'll have to keep an eye on it and watch for it.
Yep. Because that would be a major get for Sony, especially after all the shit Microsoft's been pulling.
Yeah.
And like I don't mean like they've been like pulling like tricks or whatever, but just pulling major dev different branches. So let's talk about Mr. Ezra Miller for a moment here. Now, last week, before we get into this, last week, Avery and I discussed an article from Variety. I think it was Variety, that the DC people have come out and they said that they want to refocus and they want to kind of do something like Marvel, but not like Marvel, meaning they want a Kevin Feige, but they don't want a Kevin Feige.
Right.
And like, just taking things in a different direction. Because let's be honest, there hasn't been much of a direction. They tried to have one, and all sorts of different things have happened. The best movie that they've done, Suicide Squad, the latest one.
I would argue that and the first Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman was a really well done, thought out movie that had a good character arc and development. And then Aquaman less so, but still enjoyable. The Superman, the Batman. Well, not the Batman. We've discussed at length how much we like the Batman, but Ben Affleck's Batman. I don't think they did quite right by it. They got him confused because Superman was killing people and he was dark and edgy and depressed, and Batman was talking about hope and the future and justice and liberty for all. He was leaping tall buildings in single bounds. I just think whoever was running that place had dyslexia or something.
What'd you say? They have Martha. Who?
Martha, my mom. That's my mom too.
That might have been like the cringiest thing I've ever seen when that happened. Like, that was so bad.
I mean, it's a strategy that I wonder why Thor didn't be like, my mom was Thanosina too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, so going back to Ezra Miller, I mean, they really do need to start looking at what they want to do. I mean, this guy's a train wreck. I mean, he really is just a train wreck. I mean, you go back a few years, he punched some girl in Iceland.
He chokeslammed some woman.
Chokeslammed a woman. Now apparently he's going all crazy in Hawaii. Like, everyone in Hawaii is trapped on that island with him. They can't get away.
Can't get away from Ezra Miller.
And
so yeah, I guess
his portrayal of Barry Allen is terrible.
He's a terrible runner. He looks, I don't know if he's like trying to swim while he's running. Like, it just looks silly.
I mean, here's the problem he runs into. You've got two Barry Allens right now existing in the world. You've got this guy, and you've got what's his name from the TV show, Grant Gustin.
Okay, Grant Gustin. I like him. I like him as the Flash.
Right. I mean, if you compare the two,
but I thought he was a cool actor.
He pulls off Barry Allen the best.
I wanted to see it when they announced all this stuff. I wanted him.
Yeah. I don't know why they did what they did, why they didn't pull him in. I mean, he was a good version of the Flash for them to use. And they just chose not to because they didn't want to confuse people with the Arrowverse and the DCEU, I guess.
Yeah. I guess. But that would have been a hell of a thing if they would have somehow put it all together. So for those who don't know, Ezra Miller was arrested once again last Tuesday, 1 a.m. The police department announced Miller had been arrested for a second-degree assault, a much more serious charge than his previous incident, after allegedly throwing a chair at a woman, causing a laceration in her forehead at the private residence of Pahoa. Sorry, I don't know that. Pahoa, whatever. So yeah, he allegedly threw a chair that hit a woman in the head.
Not he, they.
They.
Supposedly they. were
Sorry,
arrested
YouTube.
for throwing a
Yes,
chair at someone's head.
Right. Now I'm curious. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So, Ezra. Ezra's been getting in a lot of trouble. He's got a history of this. I want to know where his family is. I want to know where his real friends are. The guy needs some support. He probably needs an intervention of something. There's probably some sort of substance abuse thing going on here. Dude obviously needs help. But did you know that the Flash movie got delayed?
No, I didn't hear that. Maybe they're CGIing him out of it.
June 23rd of
2023.
2023.
It was supposed to come out this year, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. So, does this movie ever see the light of day?
They put a lot of money into it. I don't see how they can't.
If he keeps screwing around and he can't get his shit together, though, is anyone even going to want to go see it?
That's true. That's true. Or if he gets, canceled because of the way he's acting and stuff.
But that's the thing, is they haven't fired him. So, who knows? The guy's acted a fool. And yeah, I don't know. I just think I wouldn't be so with the idea of reorganizing everything and the merger being finished with whoever the hell just bought all the Warner Brothers was a Discovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. A part of me wouldn't be surprised at all if they just decide, fuck it. Like, and that would kind of suck because the whole Michael Keaton thing. But I'm sure he would just do it again because he's already gotten paid, and then he's like, oh, you want to pay me twice? Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just think with them announcing the refocusing things and trying to come up with more of a bigger picture type thing going on, that this might not ever come out. And that would, well, I was kind of whatever about the movie because I know Ezra Miller was been just a hot mess. And like you said, not a great Barry Allen. And I think he runs funny. I think he looks a bit silly. He was funny sometimes.
Yeah, but he wasn't great in the role. Oh, they pushed back Aquaman too. It also moved to 2023.
Well, that's got its own drama behind it as well.
Yeah, but less so.
Something about pooping in beds. You didn't hear about that?
No.
There's photo evidence of a particular turd found in someone's bed. That came out a little while ago, and they just talked about it this last week in court.
Oh, Amber Heard and
yeah,
yeah, that's cringy, and I don't know whose side I fall on that because I can see Johnny Depp being crazy, but
for sure I don't like either one of them.
Yeah,
but if Amber Heard's lied about all this stuff, that should come out as well. Like
yeah. And it probably will. It sounds like, well, it sounds to me like she's not necessarily lied about it, but I think she's blown it out of proportion.
There's a lot of evidence contrary to that. I've been watching a bit of the court this last week.
Oh, have you? I've watched some, but not all.
No, it's been silly. It's been absolutely silly. The lives these people lead are unfucking real.
Well, yeah. They wander around in this weird haze of their own celebrity and people telling them that
yes,
they're special, when they most certainly are not. I mean, you have the few rare exceptions. You have what's his name? Henry Cavill. Dude looks to be like a normal, like, I don't, other than, he's built like a Greek god. He seems to be a pretty normal person. Like, he plays video games, he builds his own computer. Like, he blew off he was late to his audition for the role for Superman because he was doing a raid in World of Warcraft, and they were progressing. I mean, he's got his priorities right.
I don't know how he's not like the biggest thing in Hollywood right now.
I don't understand either. I don't understand why they don't just put him in everything.
That he has the same agent as The Rock, or something to do with The Rock's wife, and like that might be hurting him.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill should be the biggest thing, because he does seem relatable, and like when they come and ask him about like, what about the fans hating on it, blah blah blah, and he's like, I don't see that as hate. These are passionate people. These are people who know what they're talking about, and he just has respect for the fandom that you just don't see. Everyone else just all like, oh, they're just a bunch of haters, racist, whatever. And he's just like, no, they're just passionate about what they love. Which, because that's him. He's one of us.
Yeah. So I guess him and The Rock are good friends.
Wouldn't surprise me, because I mean, they have same agency or same agent or something. Like, there's some sort of connection there. I don't remember what it is, and I want to say it has something to do with The Rock's wife as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's our Hollywood drama report.
Speaking of The Rock, Black Adam, when is that coming out?
I don't know, but they did mention that in the article that Avery and I went over last week. It was funny. So the thing about the article that was so funny is like, they want to take advantage of more characters, like how the Joker was so successful, and they want to take like advantage of like these side characters, and they specifically mentioned Harley Quinn. And they tried that with Harley Quinn, but Birds of Prey was a snooze fest.
Yeah, like, it was like, very difficult to watch.
Like, Birds of Prey was, yikes. I finished it.
Okay.
I
Black Adam is still coming out this year, but it got pushed back from July to October 21st of 2022.
Well, that's not bad. That sounds normal.
Yeah, I mean, those summer months are so packed with movies.
And who knows? They might be trying to like not compete with something, or like make sure that they've got like a window where they know they'll have like the brunt of people that will want to go see that for a few weeks type thing. Like, who knows what else is coming out around that time. They definitely try and maneuver these things like that. Like moving Obi-Wan Kenobi's release to the same week as Stranger Things. Isn't that what they did?
Yeah, they moved it from Wednesday to Friday.
I think that was a power move by Disney.
Maybe. I mean, they're streaming services, so if that is truly why they did it, it makes no sense to me, because I'm going to watch both no matter what. I'm going to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi first, and then I'm going to spend Saturday watching Stranger Things. I mean, that's just the way it's going to work out. I mean,
yeah, and also, like, so you could turn on Kenobi and then watch that one night while you're eating dinner, and then take your Saturday and watch all the Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still got 5-6 more weeks of Kenobi coming.
Yeah.
So Cyber Ninja says Birds of Prey was a modern masterpiece. I think. I
don't know what that means.
I think he's full of it, is what that means.
Well, I don't know what Birds of Prey is. I guess it's a religious movie about birds, but
we're praying to the birds.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like Bird Box. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I have no visuals for Moon Knight, and honestly don't have much to say about it until the end. It was all kind of whatever until they showed up in the Institute for me.
It was very much an episode of backstory, giving you Layla's backstory, why she's involved, why she's where she's at. At least that's what I got from the first half of it. And then the institutionalization part was an interesting touch.
I'd argue it's not a Moon Knight show.
What do you mean?
Moon Knight's barely in it. And like, I knew Moon Knight wasn't going to show up this episode because, oh, what's that fucking thing's name? Cochrane or whatever. What's the name of that god?
Khonshu. Trapped inside of the statue.
Right. Yeah. Like, I knew since they did what they did at the end of the last episode that he was going to be gone, and then therefore you can't summon the suit if he's trapped. So I knew that was going to happen. I'm hoping that episode 6 is just like 95% Moon Knight kicking ass.
Yeah.
I
mean, I view the base characters as being Moon Knight as well. Just because he's not in the suit doesn't mean he's not Moon Knight.
Right, but it's not
just
a superhero.
Because Superman's not wearing the emblem on his chest doesn't mean he's walking around as Clark Kent doesn't mean he's not Superman.
Right. It's not a superhero show though. It's a show about mental illness, but they're not really doing anything about the mental illness. Like, it's an interesting story. I found when they like the institution was that part was interesting, especially when like they're like two of their own people with Mark and Steve, and like and then I like hippos, so that was cool at the end.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I mean, you may or may not have noticed, but everything in that institution was somewhat ancient Egypt-y. There was lots of scarabs and statues and Anubis and hieroglyphics on the walls and in the posters on the billboards, or not the billboards, but the pegboards up on the walls and stuff. Everything leaned heavily into that. So,
and there was
also, have you noticed in the credits how the moon is going from being just a sliver of a moon to we're almost at a full moon right now?
No, but I do jam out to I just listen to the music. I jam out to the music.
Music's good, yeah.
I don't watch them, but I let it play, and I'm fine with the music.
Yeah, the credits are actually good. They're not radically different each time, but that the moon is different in it each time. At the beginning of the credits, the moon has slowly been, coming into its full moon from I guess what we call a waning moon.
Okay, so waning would be shrinking.
Shrinking. I'm not sure what they call it when it's growing.
So is it gibbous now?
Maybe.
Gibbous is when it's like it's a fat moon, but it's not full.
Yeah.
And then waning. So like waxing is what as it moves up into fullness, and then waning is when it's moving into the new moon. I took astronomy.
Waxing.
Course. Yeah.
Waxing means growing.
Yep.
So it's
took an astronomy
moon.
course at a community college.
To a full moon.
I took astronomy at a community college. I know what I'm talking about, Stephen.
Oh, okay. Astronomy or astrology?
Oh, this was astronomy.
Okay.
I don't think they have astrology courses at.
Depends on the community college you go to.
From what I understand, it's the third largest community college in the nation, Mesa Community College. So, I don't know, but yeah, the story's interesting. It's not for me. I'd like more Moon Knight. I get it. Fine. Yeah, I'll watch the next two. There's only 2 left, right?
Think so.
So, on that, let me pull something up here. So you went and watched The Northman.
I did.
You went last night.
Yep.
Now, when you went, were you aware of the runtime?
We checked because you had said some stuff, so
Okay.
we made sure to check on the runtime just to make sure that we weren't getting home too late.
Oh, okay. Did you watch my review?
I did watch a review.
Okay.
I mean, I really wasn't a review. It was more just some real quick thoughts on it. You didn't really tell us whether or not you liked it or not.
I did say I liked it. It was weird. We'll get into that. With those quick reviews that I do like the night that they come out, I don't want to say too much.
Right.
Because I like there was a word, so I actually recorded that twice. The first time my mic wasn't on. And I used a word the first time that I really didn't want to use, so I didn't do it the second time, and that word was predictable.
Well, every movie is somewhat predictable because, the hero's journey is just that. It's a formula for the hero's journey.
Right. Where's my thing? I'm trying to find an image so that we can just have something up while we talk about this. I'm just going to pull up my thumbnail from the other night. Oh, come
on. We went and saw it though. I really liked it. I thought that where you were kind of, I don't know if complaining is the right word, but the mysticism of it all from the get-go, you seem to have a little bit of a problem with it. I really liked that because I know quite a bit about Norse mythology from books that I've read, that deal with that. That Iron Druid Chronicles that I've read, they lean pretty heavily into, they lean pretty heavily into all mythologies, but the Norse take a big role in that series, with Odin and Frigga and Freya and Thor and all of them actually being characters in the story.
Right.
So I really dug the whole, him, the Norns setting him on his path, then meeting up with, I'm not sure who the god was that he met up under that mountain that sent him off to fight the Draugr to get that sword.
I think that was just like Defoe's replacement.
It might have been, but I don't think so. I think it was a god of some sort.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
I like that, they dealt with her being Slavic, the female character that he runs into in that village, in the land of Russ. They didn't just tie it to Britain and the Nords. They expanded out into other areas where the Vikings were known to have pillaged.
Right. So I liked the mysticism. It's just I wasn't expecting so much of it.
Neither was I, but I liked it.
Right. So that kind of took me aside for a bit. The beginning thing where with the son and the dad and they're doing that whole dog thing and they're eating that crap, whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever on their trip.
I thought, I was like, okay, this is cool as hell. And there was a part where when he cuts off dude's nose, I wanted to jump out of my chair and yell. I was so stoked when that happened.
Yeah.
I actually had to contain myself at that moment. I liked the mysticism. I want to see it again, but once again, it's so long.
It is a long movie. I don't know that I would go see it again in the theater, but I'll definitely watch it again when it gets released here and I can watch it at home.
I want to watch it because there's so many details. It would be great to be able to just sit down and watch it in chunks.
Yeah.
because there's so many details with everything that's happening, and like the way that they're telling this story through these gods and everything. It would be neat to kind of like break that down, kind of like how I used to do when I started watching Game of Thrones, and I was like, fuck, I need to make my own family tree here so I know what the hell is who's who and all that stuff, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So because of the length, I give it a 7 out of 10 axes. If they could have, I don't know where they trimmed the fat.
I was gonna say I don't see an area where they could trim it where it would actually make sense.
And I said that
I thought the pacing was really good actually for
maybe a little less time of waiting for him to finally take that guy, like when he's in the camp. Like there was a lot of time before he kind of got like promoted, and then there was a lot of time before, like, until he left or got found out.
Yeah, but in that he was somewhat terrorizing them.
So yeah, definitely after he got promoted, there was more going on with him being able to go after them because he had more reach. Oh, the whole back to like when we get to the part where he's an adult and he's riding with that gang.
Right.
Did you see that coming? Like he had just given up on, I will avenge you, father. I will.
Oh no, I don't think he had given up. I think he was looking for his moment. You know, he had to grow up. He was a little kid, so he had, and we don't know what he went through to get to that point.
Fair enough. But if I recall, that priestess or whatever the hell she was with like the shells in her eyes or her non-eyes.
Yeah, she was. I think she was a Norn.
She called him out for quitting.
Yeah.
Or forgetting. Maybe she might have used the word forget, but she was like, "You've lost your way."
Yeah.
Because he had lost his way. That wasn't who he was raised to be. He said, kind of, sort of. Like they were definitely savages. Not how they would have used the word, but it's how we'd use it today. Yeah. So yeah, to me, it looked like when he was doing that stuff with that gang and just taking shit and just destroying people. And I mean, they threw all those people in that building and lit it on fire. I knew that was, as soon as I saw him putting those people in, I was like, oh. And then for me, the predictable thing was when mom asked about the uncle as soon as dad shows up. I was like, oh God, that's obvious. Like,
yeah. Kathy figured that part out pretty quickly too.
And then when the jester Defoe was all like, made those great jokes, and the uncle got all bitchy about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's obvious. And he's like talking about saving his mom, and was like, she's gonna get you, dude. She's gonna get you so bad. And sure enough. And then the other part that was predictable. All right, this is the one thing that upset me in the movie is when he's going through and he's tearing up the town, and this is at night, and the uncle leaves the wife and his youngest child. That made no sense to me. You stay with them. You put them in a room and you guard the room or whatever. Because he's already been to that room. He knows where to go. That's probably going to be the first place he's going to look. Wait for him.
Yeah.
And then I knew when that happened and he was in the room and she wasn't there. I was like, yeah, she's going to jump out and stab him in the back. The kid getting him and stabbing him repeatedly was surprising, but I liked it because that definitely took the shit out of him. He had no business going into that last fight on the volcano. Like, he had no business at all. Like, I mean, I know he had to do it, but he was so beat up at that point. How many times had he been stabbed?
Yeah.
And it was only a day.
that was him being driven to his final point.
Yeah. No, I like that aspect, because that was definitely just him being freaking a badass.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to do what I got to do. I liked the movie. I was just really surprised by all the mysticism that was involved. And I don't know anything about this kind of lore, really. And they were kind of deep on it from what I could tell.
Oh yeah. I mean, they used the characters. The mythology of those characters wasn't really used a whole lot, but I mean, you got to see Odin, you got to see, you know, the Norns.
I felt like I needed to know more about the mythology to really understand what it was that they were talking about.
Right, because like you're constantly seeing that tree when they're doing the thing with the dog, where they're barking like dogs and stuff in the mountain with his father. You see that tree, and that tree is the tree of life. I'm guessing, which is, you know, what supports the entire universe basically in Norse mythology. Yeah, so if you knew that kind of stuff, you know, you bought more into that whole what was going on, you know, with his journey and everything.
Yeah. So, okay, the question: is it truly a hero's journey?
I mean, yeah, it's a hero's journey. He was a young child. He was wronged. He trained, and then he returned for revenge.
Yeah, he lost everything.
He found his, you know, he found the woman, Olga, who would go on to, you know, the Norn told him, you know, you will meet your end, more or less, at the gates of hell, but you know, you will set a warrior princess to, you know, a dynasty or something. I can't remember the exact words. You know, so, you know, he met her and sent her on her way to have the 2 kids and everything. Yeah, it was totally the hero's journey. It was also a little bit Macbeth.
Okay.
With the whole, you know, his uncle killed his father and then hooked up with his mother, and then, you know, he came back and he found, you know, he found his Ophelia and Olga, and
yeah. And then he dies.
Everyone's dead. Except for the 2 kids, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Well, and Olga, or whatever her name was, didn't necessarily die.
Olga survived, yeah. I guess, yeah, because Ophelia dies in Macbeth.
Yeah, we don't. I mean,
or not Macbeth, Hamlet.
Yeah.
Getting my wrong Shakespeare's.
I think it's safe to assume that Olga survived, even though we don't really know. They just show the kids at the end.
Yeah. No. Obviously, Olga survived and moved and went on with her life for however long it went on.
How about that random Valkyrie scene? That was fun.
In the middle when she saves him?
Yeah.
It was badass.
I thought that was freaking cool as hell. I was like,
and then the Valkyrie
going off that mountain, and then you're really not sure what's happening, and then all of a sudden they bring the horse, and the horse is just going on the sky. It's like, oh, okay, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think it was a hero's journey. I'm trying to decide if I would entertain the idea if you didn't want to call it a hero's journey because there wasn't like a happy ending.
Totally a happy ending. I mean, it was a happy ending for Olga. It wasn't a happy ending for him.
It was a mixed ending.
But, you know, endings don't always have to be all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, the best ending in the Star Wars series is in Empire Strikes Back.
When it looks like everything's gone to shit.
Han Solo's frozen in carbonite. You know, the rebellion is in tatters.
And you know what? That might be the best ending in Harry Potter, because it was definitely the most emotional for me, was when fucking Voldemort's back. Everyone's denying it. Dumbledore had battled Voldemort for the first time. And Harry Potter was a bad guy. Like, not really, but like the world viewed him as a bad person, as like a liar and a bad person and everything.
Right.
The Order of Phoenix one. Yeah, no, that it doesn't have to be a happy ending for it to be a good story. I certainly agree with that. There's parts of me with how long this was going that I was wondering if they were building to a sequel. I don't think that's the case now.
No. This and it doesn't need a sequel. It told a full and complete story. There's, I the only thing they could do in a sequel is talk about his kids, and I mean, sequels generally are drawn from continuing stories. This is based on something called the Historica Danica, which is the legend and history of the Danish people.
Okay.
Kathy asked me that last night. She said, "Is this based on a comic book?" And I'm like, "No, it's not." That I know of, and then I went and I looked it up to see what it was based on, and that's where I found out. Oh, well, it's based on a history. It seems to be it was probably pretty liberally adapted from that, because obviously the gods didn't just go traipsing around the planet talking to people, and as this shows it does. So but it was good. I would read a comic book about his adventures as a berserker.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how many axes do you give this one?
I don't give it axes, but I give it 2 out of 2 ravens.
2 out of 2 ravens.
Mm-hmm. I give it both Hugin and Munin.
Okay. All right.
The Ravens of Odin. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't go watch it again in the theater, mostly because it's 2 hours and 17 minutes long. But I'll definitely watch it again when it comes out on video, and I can watch it here at home.
What was the runtime on Batman?
I don't know.
2 hours and 56 minutes.
Yeah, so it was shorter than.
Okay, so that one's 36 minutes longer than this one. Someone in the comments of my video said that Batman was only 15 minutes longer. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Even though for me, this one felt longer.
I'm good with sitting and watching a long movie. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I didn't think it felt long at all. I mean, the movie started and was over, and I could have probably watched a little bit more.
I don't mind a long movie. I do mind when they're all long movies.
Right.
Like 90 minutes, please bring that back. Let's just get some good popcorn flicks. Which I was looking, there's nothing really coming out. I'm probably going to go see that Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going and seeing that too.
Probably go see that. Because there's really nothing next week. What was there? Yeah, next week there's Alive, Who Is There? The Pompo, the Cinephile, which looks like some anime thing.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is 2 hours and 6 minutes long.
That's better. Barely. What about Memory? You interested in Memory?
What is that one about? I don't even know that I've seen anything on it.
That was the preview with Liam Neeson. At least it was a trailer when I went and saw The Northman.
Oh, you know what? I didn't see that trailer with The Northman, but I saw it with Morbius.
Okay, yeah. I definitely played in Morbius as well.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I don't know. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the Chris Nolan film. Oh God, now it's just disappearing from my memory.
Bless you. Good Lord.
Yeah, I know, right?
Damn.
What's?
Oh, you know what else is out that
Memento. It reminds me of Memento.
Oh, you know what? I never saw that. I had a friend strongly recommend that. I don't think I ever saw that.
So the premise of Memento is this dude, every morning when he wakes up, he goes back to a day in the past when he had a traumatic brain injury, and he forgets everything that happened the day before. So he tattoos important things on his body to remember. Or he takes, Polaroid pictures or something to remember, so that when he wakes up, he can fill himself in on the last, 15 years of what's going on.
So like the silence from Doctor Who meets 50 First Dates.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh, there was another movie that it's out now. Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, we wanted to see that. I just don't know when we're gonna get a chance.
I'm actually having a difficulty between choosing that or the Nick Cage. I'm you know what? I'm just gonna go see them both. I got so much shit coming up. I gotta help some people move on Monday, and I gotta do some stuff around my house.
Yeah. Well, it's Kathy's birthday tonight, so we're going out to dinner. But we did a movie last night, so we probably won't go do another movie tonight. So if we go see a movie, it'll be next week.
I might be spending more time in the theaters. I kind of like it.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll go see a movie tomorrow. We're going to be babysitting my nephew's kids tomorrow night. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, this is kind of just moved on to our own personal lives. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about regarding any video games or anything maybe coming up?
Well, the only other thing that I had coming up that it's that Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy game.
Yeah, but isn't that like the end of the year?
I think that's the end of the year. Yeah. I've got that pre-booked. Other than that, I'm probably just gonna play. I'm gonna try and finish Horizon Zero Dawn here in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then move on into Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh, all right.
I'm really trying hard not to start multiple games and not finish them. So, that's tough because.
Especially when you got the new system up and going.
Yeah.
I think for me, I am going to, if I can find the time, I want to get into Cyberpunk. I'm at least halfway through, and I've done it without the Mantis blades because I hear that's just like
cheating. Pure cheating.
Yeah.
I picked up the Mantis blades in my first playthrough on PS4, and I destroyed everybody.
Yeah. So I've avoided that, and I'm having a good time. I'm liking it. It's not perfect as far as all the bugs and everything, but it's definitely way more playable than it was a year ago.
Really?
Oh yes.
I've downloaded it onto the PlayStation 5. I just haven't played it yet.
Okay. Now also I am playing on PC, which from what I understand had way fewer issues than PlayStation and Xbox on launch. But it's actually enjoyable now. I don't feel like so when I was playing on PlayStation, it felt like that the enemies were just bullet sponges and nothing could take them.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's definitely feeling balanced. It's like it has a really good balance with the difficulty of everything. And I want to say I'm just playing on normal.
Yeah, I think I was playing on normal too, but you're right. It did feel a little like, no matter what you threw at the bad guys, they were going to survive it until I got those Mantis blades. And then it was like I was fighting hot butter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hot butter.
Unless I was driving a car, then I felt like I was trying to fly the space shuttle blindfolded with my hands tied behind my back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just like driving a brick.
The driving's gotten better. I've gotten a few new cars. and they're definitely not all the same car. They each have their own kind of responsiveness, and it's not like floating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think I'm going to try and make an effort if I can find the time. I think I'm going to try and make an effort to go see Ambulance and what is it, The Incredible Weight or something like that. The Incredible Weight of Being Massively Talented or something like
yeah,
that.
the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah, there. It's a great title.
It really is. I mean, it is literally the role that Nicolas Cage was born to play.
Yeah.
Everything up to this point was preparation for that.
That's all it was. It was like the preface.
Yeah, I need to see it. I probably won't see it in theaters, but I'll definitely talk about it when I see it, when it comes out on video, when I can rent it and watch it in my living room.
All right. Well, on that, let's call it.
Sounds like
if you like what you watch, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and tell a friend. And until next time, keep it nerdy.